there's a lot of ancient teachings, indigenous teachings that model what a healthy community looks like, what a community looks like that actually nurtures your growth, that actually encourages you to be the real you. And there are groups of people exploring this kind of reality. So, sometimes this falling away of the old life is really preparing you to step into what does a community that actually supports you look like? And what kind of person are you when you come into a community like that? Very often we discover that this whole time we thought we were one way, but we're actually another way. And that is eye-opening, but it also serves the greater good. It serves the greater whole in many ways. Some of the more immediate ways that it serves a greater whole is that it's shaking up that collective 4D grid that's holding people in these polarity patterns, right? So it's absolutely worthwhile in that sense. So when it comes to transforming your life because the lightning bolt has happened, very often you don't really need to do the things to make things fall away. They're going to fall away on their own. The effort needs to be focused on, who am I now? Where am I now? What is it my soul is really calling forward now? Okay. And that way you are redisciplining your thoughts and your emotions and your focus into what it is you actually want to do with your creative life force energy, rather than putting out fires or managing those old relationships or holding up living a face that wasn't really truly you. All that life force energy now needs to go somewhere. So after the grief, after the depression, after the however it is you are going to process these things, now that life force energy needs to get dedicated to something. If it doesn't get dedicated to something very often, more times than not, this is just my many decades of experience watching this happen with people. If you don't replace it with something, all that creative life force energy will invest into something that is self-destructive. In which case that's not something that is helping elevate you into the next level of who you are and why you're here. Because there is a reason why you're here. It takes an effort to get born into this world, let alone make it to adulthood. Okay, it's a real big effort to be born, to survive that process, to survive the indoctrination process, or the childhood process, or maybe you had an amazing upbringing, whatever. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of work to make it into adulthood. So all that is not just for naught. That is for a purpose that deep inside your spirit is truly 100% dedicated for. Okay, it's completely dedicated, wanting to be here. Okay. Now, there are times when we're fractured and parts of us really want to be here and that drive is there, and that other part of us doesn't want to be here, in which case that's where a lot of healing, soul healing, a lot of soul retrieval and a multidimensional healing work needs to happen to get these two parts of you on the same page and aligned. And a lot of star seeds actually fall into that category. It's like they're lower aspects of themselves. We're like, no, I don't want to be here again. But they're higher aspects. They're, the more expanded multidimensional aspects that maybe didn't have a lot of lifetimes embodied are all gung-ho to go. And they're saying they're hitting the go button, and the lower aspects are still kicking and screaming. And that is a real thing that happens. But over time, we do grow into alignment because our soul path is set up for us to come back into alignment with ourselves. Okay, that's the soul path. The path is always about, in this time, in this realm, it's for all of us, it's about reuniting with ourselves and being our true selves. Okay, this time in this realm is about that. And even the control systems that are distorted are supporting that as well. Now, a lot of people get really triggered when we start talking about the interdimensional inversions and the interdimensional fuckery and stuff like that. But when you realize that, those are all overlays to a bigger truth, you can have a different relationship to those kinds of things.